This is Chapter 5, Lesson 5, and as usual, we have two different concepts to look at, and I think they're both pretty straightforward. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to change a mixed number into an improper fraction. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction, and an improper fraction is where the numerator is larger than the denominator, and you'll see what those mean again and again and again as we go through some of our examples. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a mixed number, 4 3/8 in this case. It's a mixed number because it has a whole number and a fraction, so it has a mixed number. And we're going to change that into an improper fraction. The way we do that is pretty straightforward. We simply multiply the denominator times the whole number. So 8 times 4 is 32. And then we add the numerator. So 8 times 4 is 32. 32 plus 3 is 35. And that becomes the numerator. And I keep the original denominator. So this is an improper fraction because the numerator is larger than the denominator. So again, the rule is fairly straightforward. Multiply the denominator times the whole number. 8 times 4 is 32. Add that to the numerator. 32 plus 3 is 35. That becomes the numerator. And you keep the original denominator. Once you work through these, it becomes second nature. So let's continue to look and try a couple more of these kinds of problems. Let's take 3 1/5, and let's convert that into an improper fraction. So again, I say 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 1 is 16. That becomes the numerator. And I keep the original denominator. So 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 1 is 16. That becomes the numerator. Keep the original denominator. Okay, this probably makes it look even more complicated than it really is. So let's have you try a couple. So I'm going to have you try 2 3/4. So I'm going to, in a moment, ask you to press the pause button, work on converting this to an improper fraction. When you are done, unpause the video, and it will automatically go into my continuation of solving the problem and provide an answer. So, hit the pause button now. Okay, now that you've tried this yourself and unpaused this, hopefully, let's convert 2 3/4 to an improper fraction. So I start at the bottom. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 is my numerator. Keep the original denominator. So 2 3/4 is the same thing as 11 over 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. Keep the original denominator. Okay. Depending on how you did, if you did great or if you still had a few questions, let's try another one. See if we got it down. Let's do 10 2/7. Convert that to an improper fraction. So hit the pause button in a moment, then unpause it when you're done. So hit the pause button now. All right, very good. 10 2/7, we multiply. 7 times 10 is 70. 70 plus 2 is 72. That's my numerator. Original denominator is my same denominator. So 10 2/7 is the same as 72 over 7. That's the first concept. That's it. We are now going to move into going the other way. We're going to start with an improper fraction and turn it into a mixed number. And the key to this is just simply remembering what a fraction is, because any fraction is really a division problem. Think of it this way. 7, then you got the fraction bar in a 3. What if I change the 7 to a dot and the 3 to a dot and use the fraction bar? What operation sign do I have? A division sign. Any fraction is a division problem. And the division problem is 7 divided by 3. So to change this improper fraction into a mixed number, that's exactly what I do. 7 divided by 3. So that means the 3 is on the outside, the 7 is on the inside. So there's my setup. And for our sakes, at this level in Math 6, you're not going to be having any weird problems or problems that don't end. Now that's going to be a later lesson. But let's follow through. So you do the division problem until you just get a remainder. And then we see what we do with that. So 3 goes into 7 twice. Multiply back. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. This is my remainder. So to put it into a mixed number, I take the whole number that's to the left of the decimal, 2. My remainder becomes my numerator, and my denominator is the original one, or what I'm dividing by, which is 3. So 7 over 3 is the same thing as 2 1/3 as a mixed number. You can check yourself again, because I think it's easier to go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. You just learned that in the first concept. So check yourself. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. That becomes the numerator. Original denominator. It's the same thing. 7 over 3. 2 1/3. Equivalent improper fraction and mixed number. Okay, let's try another one, because I know that probably hits you a little bit to try to soak it all in. So let's try another one together. 29 over 8. So again, remember, this is a division problem. 29 divided by 8. So we set up this way. 8 doesn't go into 2, but 8 does go into 29 3 times. That's going to be my whole number. Multiply back. 3 times 8 is 24. Subtract. 29 minus 24 is 5. This is my remainder. So this is my whole number in the mixed number. The remainder is my numerator. The original denominator, or what you divided by, is a denominator. So 29 over 8 is the same thing as 3 5/8. Check yourself. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 5 is 29. So I get 29 over 8. Same thing. All right, I am going to have you try one. Keep it fairly simple on this one. 7 over 2. Change that into a mixed number. So hit the pause button. Now. All right, hopefully this one wasn't too bad. Remember, it's a division problem. 7 divided by 2. So here's the way the problem sets up. 2 goes into 7 3 times, so that's going to be my whole number. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. 1 is my remainder. So my mixed number is going to be 3. The remainder is the numerator. The original denominator is still the denominator. So 7 over 2 is the same thing as 3 1/2. Let's try another one. I'll have you do this one. 34 over 7. So hit the pause button. Now. Okay, let's see how we did. Division problem, 34 divided by 7. So it sets up this way. 34 goes in, or 7 goes into 34 4 times. Multiply back. 4 times 7 is 28. Subtract. 34 minus 28 is 6. That's my remainder. My whole number is 4. My remainder is the numerator, 6. And the original denominator, 6. So 34 over 7 is the same as 4 6/7. I will show you one more just in case, because you may run into this a little bit, where you may do a little bit more division. What if I gave you 35 over 3? Same principle, it's still a division problem, 35 divided by 3, but you'll see one thing different. So if I set it up, This is the way it looks. The only difference is now 3 does go into 3 once. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, I get 0, so I bring down the next number, but this is not my remainder because I haven't finished my whole number. So 3 goes into 5 once, multiply back. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract 5 minus 3 is 2. Now this is my remainder because it's the fraction or the decimal part. So my whole number is 11. My remainder is my numerator. And my original denominator is still the denominator. You can check yourself. 3 times 11 is 33, plus 2 is 35. 35 over 3. They are equivalent fractions. So watch out for, you keep on dividing until you get after the dot, the decimal point. Then your remainder comes into play to make your fraction. So that concludes Chapter 5, Lesson 5.